This is a releasing practice. It's going to work your psoas and piriformis to liberate your lower back, hips, and pelvis. For props, you want 2 blocks, and I'm going to use a firmer myofascial release ball. This is the Yoga Tune-Up Alpha Ball. If it's too much for your outer hips or your inner thigh line, you can always use a squishier ball. Like this is a foam ball that we have in the Amazon storefront. I like to do these types of practices on a carpet or a rug. You can see I have a blanket over my yoga mat now. I recommend that you do the same because once we get into the slidey glidey movements, you want to have as much contact with the floor as possible. And if you're on a sticky mat, you know, hence the name, it's going to create this choppy movement, and you get more benefit for connective tissue when it's a very smooth slide and glide. We're going to start with the myofascial release. So have your blocks nearby, and you're going to lay down, and the ball is going to go underneath your outer hip. If this is super sensitive and you're going to go side to side just below the rim of the pelvis, then you can keep the foot down. Note that I'll lift the foot up, especially to get on the outer edge. And you can also cross the ankle over the thigh like a figure 4. There's really no right way with the myofascial release. And when you get into spots, you can hold and wait for the tension to dissolve, just like in massage. Or you can do the sweeping action. Again, it's very similar to massage in terms of technique and intention. I'll work all the way down to the sitting bone. You may need to move the ball at certain points in time. And note that I can get far onto the outer hip. It does have a little bit of a twist. That's where some of my sticky spots are. You can always pause the recording and do more. We're going to move over to the second side. I do this type of releasing almost every day. The back of the pelvis, rim of the pelvis is one of those areas that I tend to hold stress and tension. If you are prone to low back stuff, SI instability, hip stuff, you might do that too. Some people hold more of their tension in their shoulders and neck, and there's a releasing practice for that as well. And you may find that one side needs more time than the other. Over time, as you do this consistently, it'll be less sensitive, less intense. It'll start to even out. Note that I'm going to use my hands to kind of press my body farther down and find more spots. And then once you're satisfied with the second side, we're going to move on and work the inner thigh line. So we're going to work outer hip, inner thigh. And those are 2 areas where we tend to build up patterns and tension, but then we feel it in the lower back, the hips, the knee. So I'm going to stack the 2 blocks, and I'm going to place them so they're parallel to my inner thigh. And then I'm going to put the ball close to my upper inner thigh, and I'll roll towards the floor. Occasionally people will prefer 1 block here. I prefer 2. Now, some of you will get a lot of sensation up high, and you can experiment, explore with that. I generally get more down near the knee, and it's a little fussy because you have this runway of the blocks and it's not super long. And you can explore, experiment, and then when you find a sticky spot, you're going to stay there and you're going to kick the leg up and out to the side. And you're going to do the leg kick 3 times. And then you're going to go find another spot and do the leg kick 3 times. So 3 spots, 3 times. If you're getting more benefit just releasing into the ball, go for it. That's my 3rd spot, really close to the knee. Some of you will get more benefit by actually turning the knee and the hip and the femur bone down towards the floor more. And once you've gotten your 3 spots and done your 3 kicks, we go to the other side. I'm going to flip around. And again, you line up the blocks so that they are parallel with the femur bone. I'm going to do that first before I put the ball on there. I'm going to start with the ball in the upper inner thigh, work a little bit there. And again, that's not really the area for me, but woo, that's a special one today. And so I'm going to stay there. I don't often get that line. And then I'm going to bend and extend a few times. Now, this side, I have some hamstring stuff. So interesting that it has more sensitivity up high. I'm even getting clunky in my knee. Now I'm going to go find that second spot. I'm going to go closer to the knee. There we go. 3, 2, 1. And then I'm going to go uber close to the knee. And last 3, 3, 2, 1. And then I'm going to remove the ball. Blocks can go away. And now that's like spot treatment for your connective tissue. And we're going to do Satia work, these slidey glidey movements that are like long line work for your connective tissue. So start with your feet on the floor, knees bent, hands behind your head. And you're going to slide over to the left. You're going to get some space in the right rib cage, right armpit, right shoulder, and then you're going to slowly stretch the right leg out, and it's like you're lengthening and tractioning the whole right side. And then drop the left knee open to the left. 3 breaths here. And then left knee up, right leg up, slide back to center. And then slide over to the right. Reach through left leg. And then right knee drops open. You want to be as relaxed as possible here. That's where a lot of the therapeutic benefit comes from. Like I have to watch tensing along those areas. I was just rolling the inner thigh, the outer hips, the lower back, sometimes in the side waist. Some of you will need to consistently release tension in your head, neck, and jaw. Now back to center. Allow yourself a full exhale here. And then slide the legs out. You want to make sure that your feet are fully on the blanket or carpet or rug. And then you're going to let the right foot, right knee drop open to the right and slide the right leg up into what we'll call an open tree. And then you're going to slide the right leg out. So the right foot does not need to touch the left leg, and you're going to go in and out many times. Keep the knee as close to the floor as possible. So I'm not going to go up here. I'm not going to be out here. I'm also not going to hop the foot up. It's this almost fiddling action. This works out a lot of asymmetries in the hip and the leg and the knee. It's one of the best diagnostics and therapeutics I know. And part of the diagnostic quality is there may be a radical difference side to side. And then the therapeutic thing is the movement will work out those asymmetries that you notice. 1 or 2 more. And then after many on the right side, go over to the left. Now for me, the left side tends to go like 0 to 60. There's no engagement. And then all of a sudden the left outer hip like kicks in really hard. And so I'm trying to smooth that out. I want to feel like my leg is being lifted on puppeteer strings. Almost like there's a string right from the back of my kneecap through the center of my kneecap, and that is what's creating the lifting. Do a few more until you feel balanced or even between the 2 sides. When I started doing this, I needed like 8 on my right side and 48 on my left to feel even. So if you sense something similar or you need to go back to the first side, do it. And then give your body a few rounds of breathing to receive what you've been doing. And then unpack the arms. Place your feet on the floor, feet wide, knees wide. And you're going to bring the palms together up overhead. And you're going to drop the knees over to the left. Right arm's going to go to the right. And you're going to brush the left hand all the way to the center of the chest. And then maintaining contact with the right arm all the way up. Bring the arms up, bring the knees up, and then go the other way. So we call this windshield wiper with the arm brushing. And the contact of the hand to the arm all the way up, all the way down is fantastic for your lymph system. There are major lymph nodes, lymph glands along the collarbones and the thymus gland underneath the sternum. Head can turn in the same direction as your straight arm. Do a few more like this. And then next we're going to do the unraveling twist. It's similar but different. So I'm going to put the right foot on the floor, left leg straight, left arm out to the left, right hand at the center of the chest. And then I'm going to reach my right hand to my left hand. I'm going to use my right foot to push my right hip up. But note that my left hip is on the floor. I'm going to roll my forehead to the floor. This will be your inhale, the reaching. And then you're going to exhale, come back to center, right hip down, right hand to center of chest. And you stay on this side with this one. You're going to inhale, reach, lift. You can have the heel down or be on the ball of the foot only. And then exhale, release, and relax. Keep going. Just like the earlier ones, you're going to do mini. The upper body work feels a little bit like eagle. There's some rounding and wrapping of the upper back to open tight tissue there. One or two more. And then you'll change sides. So the right leg out, right arm out, left hand at center of chest, left foot on the floor. I lift, reach, I can roll towards the forehead or onto the forehead. And then exhale, release, relax, let it go. And there's a little bit of a rocking momentum here. The left fingertips can go past the right. Back of the head heavy is one of those interesting details that changes everything, especially for the nervous system. It took me months of this type of work before I realized how much tension I was constantly holding in the back of my head and the back of my neck. And then after one or two more, you're going to come back to center and you're going to release, relax, let it all go. Take a moment to pause, breathe, receive. Keep the left leg out, right foot on the floor again. Similar but different, you're going to lift the right hip and sweep the right arm up by the ear. And this time the head can move towards the right armpit. And then you're going to exhale, release, relax, let it go. So it's just a little different arm movement. I'll call this like a snow angel arm instead of the arm brushing. And we're just going to do 5 here to get the rhythm. And then we're actually going to add the tree slide to this. And it'll be the culmination of our work here. Okay, last one. And note that my hand stays on the floor the whole time. And I'm going to have to move out of the way of this plant to get it on the second side. Right leg out, left foot on the floor, left arm reaches up. This is an inhale. Exhale, rock back and let it go. Do a few more. There is a little bit of rhythm here. I am using the foot on the floor, so there's tone in the backside of my left leg, so it's not a twist. There's power and extension in it. 1 or 2 more. And here is our grand finale. Both legs out, arms in a T or low V. You're going to go side to side on this one. You're going to bring the right leg up into that tree slide. Lift the right knee up, go across into the unraveling twist. Take an inhale, right arm goes up by the ear. And then exhale, release, relax, slide the right leg out. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, left leg across. Inhale, arm up. You can hold the tension, hold the, I call this unraveling tree, and then exhale, release, relax. Let the left knee open, then slide it out. Keep going. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, right leg across. Inhale, reach. Exhale, let it all go. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, left leg across. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, let it all go. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, across. Inhale, hold. Exhale, let it all go. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, go across. Inhale, reach. Exhale, let it all go. Now, 2 more side to side with your own rhythm. If you get lost or a little bit confused, that is just part of the learning process. You can choose a different breathing rhythm. I've given you the one that works for me. And then last round. When you're complete, you're going to let everything go and stretch out again into that Shavasana-like shape and receive the opening. I always notice a spectacular, tingly aliveness after practices like this. These balance out my body, but also restore my energy, my vitality. It's deeply nourishing for connective tissue, but also the nervous system. A few more rounds of breathing here. And then elbows beside your ribs, soles of the feet together. And we're going to do a butterfly bridge. This is going to like hug in everything we've been developing. Lift the knees up a little bit more than they naturally drop out to, and then lift the hips up. You want to feel like the folds of the buttocks are engaging and the pelvis is lifted in a sling. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and then lower down. Now, roll onto your belly. We're going to finish, again, sealing in what we've been doing. And you're going to make your hands into a pillow for your forehead. Bend your knees. I call this the sacrum stabilizer. Flex your feet. You're going to press the right hip down, lift the right knee up, press the right heel to the ceiling, and then change sides. And when I'm lifting left knee, the right knee is pressing down so the right hip is lifting. And it's got a rhythm, a cadence like walking. One or two more on each side. And then inner edge of your feet come together, not soles, just inner edge. Slide the elbows in, and you want to tone the feet so you get that same hug of the butterfly bridge in the sides of the pelvis. And then I'm dragging the chest forward, and it's like I'm almost pulling the spine out of the pelvis. So it's this wonderful tractioning of the spine because of the stability and balance you built at the beginning of practice. And then release slowly. Legs go out, head goes back to hands. And you're going to curl your toes under, press through your heels. And as you press through your heels, you may need to walk the feet in. You want to feel like it grabs the sitting bones via the hamstrings, anchors the pelvis, and then once again, drag the chest forward. I like the palms stacked. Interlaced hands can also be very good. And you want to feel like you're lengthening and tractioning your own spine. You can move the chin up and down to find a sweet spot for head and neck. You'll notice that I kind of wiggle, almost like I'm wiggling things longer. And then with your next exhale, release, relax. Head goes back to hands, tops of the feet flat. You may want to shimmy the hips side to side. And then press onto hands and knees. Do just a few rounds of breathing here. We're going to get into the legs a little bit, and I encourage you to come up into a squat from the hands and knees position. It's one of those functional movements we don't do much of anymore. And then fingertips on the floor, If you're on the ball of your feet or toes, knees are wide. It's a shape we've done many times. And then you're going to plant the feet, straighten the legs a little or a lot, and you're in like a forward fold. Then separate the feet outer hip distance apart, turn the toes out, and you're going to bend the knees again. Hands are going to stay on the floor, and you're in a Myofascial, but you're not going to collapse. Stay really heavy in the feet, like you could stand up from here, and then straighten the legs. You can be on fingertips. When you've got the toes turned out, the legs will only straighten 80%-ish, maybe a little bit more. And do that 2 more times. It's a squatty, strength, grounding oriented Myofascial. Palms flat on the floor feels really good to me today. And then driving through the heels from your balanced, calibrated hips and pelvis. You're straightening the legs-ish. Last one. Now, from this last one, you can do the forward fold, then stand up, or hands go to your heart, drive through your legs, and come up to standing. Once you're standing, bring the inner edge of your heels together, feet slightly apart. One hand on your belly, the other hand over that hand. And take a moment to appreciate how grounded you feel from the pelvis down through the leg bones. And keep that grounded quality, but interlace your hands, place your hands behind the back of your skull and lengthen through the back of your skull. And then keep the length, but separate your feet hip distance apart. One hand to your chest, one hand to your lower ribs. And these last few breaths, we close practice, noticing all the releasing has brought. We live in a world that tends to value go, 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 do, 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 but sometimes it's actually the releasing and the resetting that allows us to keep going. Thank you for taking that time for yourself. See you soon.